Cut the music. And yo, I interrupt your daily scheduled broadcast on Track Stars Radio to let you know that this is one of the loudest holy hip-hop radio shows on the face of the planet. And yeah, that's right, man. This is Preach That Fire from Holla Fest Radio. You're in the field with the Track Stars. NYC, stand up.
Yeah, back in the field with the Track Stars, Ryan Wright to Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. And of course, we said we dedicating this show to the Mike Brown situation in Ferguson. So if y'all remember, if you a Track Stars veteran, you remember Soul Candy over here. If you know Soul Candy, you know how she feels about a lot of this stuff. So she wanted to weigh in on some of the thoughts that she had watching this all go down. And there's a couple more things that we need to address. Number one, which is what Sean King is fighting for now, which to me is the no-brainerest, if that's a word, thing to happen that should happen immediately all across the country, is there should be on-body cameras on every police officer. Absolutely. The fact that they don't have that now is ridiculous to me.
Well, certain
they have it in
cities,
Daytona Beach.
Yeah, certain cities have it.
They have it in a few areas.
Yeah. That's not national.
What is the reason why? I know they have dashboard cams, but that's when the dude lead a car. Then what? Everybody should be wearing some sort of device on their body that records. Why would they not want that? Because if they did and they had it and the cop didn't do nothing wrong, release a tape, this all dies down, no problem. Every cop should have a camera on. That should be a part of the job requirement. If your footage come up missing, you need to answer to somebody as to why your footage ain't.
Be released from your job immediately.
Your camera should always be running before you pull anybody over. You should test it. Like, it should be that serious. Why that isn't in place right now is ridiculous. What do you think?
I mean, I definitely agree. As far as the Mike Brown situation, I am someone who believes that it was definitely a strategic move to release the footage. First, they released the stills, and the stills that they originally released was Michael, grabbing onto this little small, Indian guy, and kind of shaking him up a bit. I used to sell tobacco, and I would go to gas stations, and in the economically challenged neighborhoods, a lot of these foreigners come and they set up shop, and they treat the citizens of the community very, very bad. Talk to them doggish. And I've been in stores where things have said, well, the last time I came in here, I gave you X amount of dollars, and you said that it would cover me next time. And then the store owner or the clerk or the manager on duty at the time is like, well, I don't remember that. You need to pay for this now. Or someone coming in there and saying, I just gave you $50 for gas, but they made a mistake and put it on the wrong pump, and now an argument ensues, and now they're threatening to call the police. And so we don't know what happened because there is no footage. My whole thing is, outside of the alleged robbery, what happened after that? It is realistic that the officer did not know what had taken place. I believe Dorian's story because his story matches Piaget's. Piaget's stories matches Tiffany's, and their stories match whomever else was around and saw Michael get murdered. So for them not to take the statement of Dorian the day that it happened is definitely alarming.
The police haven't talked to him yet.
For them to not take the statement of Piaget and Tiffany the day it happened is definitely alarming. You're waiting days, and we all watch the nightly news. We all familiar with Monica Kaufman, whatever her new last name is now. And when something goes down in the store, the first thing they do is release the footage. Like, you can literally see people getting robbed, whether it be strong arm, whether it be shotgun, what have you. So for them to wait 6 days after the murder to release the footage, and then the disheartening thing was for them to talk about that. His press conference was literally maybe 5 to 7 minutes. And for him to spend all of that time talking about the robbery and not about what happened, it's just it's incredible. I mean, it's really incredible.
So do you believe that the Ferguson Police Department is trying to cover up what happened?
Absolutely, I believe that they're trying to cover up what happened. Regardless if Michael, I don't know if you all know this, and I don't know if most people know this. Michael went to a high school that was so poor they only had 2 caps and gowns. And every graduating senior had to share the cap and gown for the picture. Michael didn't graduate in May. He graduated August 1st. He had to go to summer school because he just, growing up in that community, like his mother said, it's really difficult, you know what I'm saying, to get a young brother to go to school when everything around him is, this is what else you should be doing. Yeah. His teacher said that the school building didn't open until 8 o'clock. But Michael would show up every day at about 7:15 to the point where the teacher started opening the door just for Michael. So he could come in. He'd be waiting there eager, ready to learn, and with a smile on his face. You don't hear that stuff about Michael, that this brother worked so hard that he was showing up 45 minutes to an hour early to get to school because he wanted a better life. You didn't hear Dorian say that he'd only been living in the community 8 months, met Michael because Michael had a different plan. He wanted to do something with himself and everybody else, and his word was on some foolishness. And Dorian is 22. That's 4 years older than Michael. So clearly Michael had to have some type of level of maturity or some type of plan where they could connect to make an older gentleman, you know what I'm saying, want to hang out with this 18-year-old kid. And so for me, it's very disheartening, and as someone else said it, they did the same thing to Trayvon, you know what I'm saying? They did the same thing to Jordan. They did the same thing to Oscar. You paint these young brothers in this terrible light where if we were to go to Facebook right now and skim through people's profile, you see a whole bunch of people, no matter what race, color, or creed they are, drinking beer, popping whatever they doing.
We better go take our gun range pictures down with us holding up.
We so drunk, about to get in the car. I don't give a F the world tonight. Just got laid. Popped a couple of, you know what I'm saying? And everybody understands when you're 18 years old, prayerfully, if you get to live your life, you get to grow up. You get to mature. You get to change. You know what I'm saying? You get to experience. Life is seasonal. Yeah. Phases in life is seasonal. And so for me, Michael was murdered in cold blood. Cold, calculated blood. The cop that murdered him was definitely anger. Because if you're going to shoot somebody that many times, if you're a trained professional, it takes one shot to bring somebody down, and it takes one shot to murder somebody. But for you to pump lead into somebody's body, you are angry, and it is definitely personal. It's definitely personal. And they're protecting this cop. The neighbors in his neighborhood are so afraid that the obstruction and everything is going to come to them. They didn't even want to be seen on camera. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely a cover-up, a crime, and I hope they tear the city down because this has got to stop.
So wait, no, hold on.
Not like tear the city down as far as, set your stuff on fire, like cause a ruckus and not, settle. Yeah, get them fired up.
Get the government cleaned up.
Do
tear down the city, tear down the walls of all the barriers that they got up. Talking about
right, but I ain't talking about burning the stuff down. You got to still look at that every day.
They're doing that, and we need to stop doing that.
Yeah, we need to stop doing it. But when people are frustrated, let's point out a real fact here, Sean. People are saying, well, you're burning down your community. Technically, it's not theirs. If you don't own nothing, it's not yours. You're just a inhabitant at the moment. So you don't own anything, so it's not yours. They're not circulating that money back into their community.
Yeah, but some of the businesses that were destroyed were black owned.
Well, then that's terrible, black folks. We got to get that together.
Right.
But they show a lot of the looting, and I have friends, as I'm sure you do, who are a part of the situation. Yeah. And they're saying that the looting is literally so microscopic and such in pocketed areas that they're making that a thing. And at least we not forget the young African-American woman, I do not know her name, that was shot in the head, a Howard University graduate that was peacefully protesting, was shot in the head. Thank the Most High she did not die, but the police are trying to say that it was a drive-by. How is it a drive-by when for the first 2 days the roads were barricaded? But they're not talking about that on the news. So.
Oh man, this is getting crazy. Again, I just gotta say big ups to Thizzle on the ground. If this happened anywhere, we're fortunate that Thizzle was near it because this man is serious about his neighborhood and his community. And he was serious about it before this happened. So the fact that he's out there calming people down, making sure people are heard but are peaceful and they're not doing stupid stuff, pray for that man. He's out there for real.
Right.
For real.
And I need to say one more thing. What people should know about the structure of St. Louis. I thought, and this was, I didn't know this either until a couple of days ago. St. Louis isn't like in Atlanta. It's not a city where people are doing things. It's really just, you got like kind of like the downtown area, which isn't even that much. And then it's kind of like a little dilapidated area. There is no growth. There's not really that much opportunity. And most of the African Americans in that county, Ferguson, and the other city like right next to it in East St. Louis, like they all kind of live below the poverty line, like most of them. And at least we not forget that poverty is not just lack of financials, it's lack of education, it is lack of community, it is lack of familial ties, it is lack of resources, and as well as money. So I don't want us as African Americans to judge the way that these people are talking, because to them that is their reality. And if we were to come to their neighborhood, we are outside and we talk funny and we think differently. Same thing with Gentile last year with Trayvon Martin. Where she's from, she's normal. And so let's not forget the issue at hand when you see these brothers talking with their shirts off, or you see, they got 2 gold fangs in their mouth. For them, that's their norm. And it doesn't negate or take away the matter at hand. And there was a young white man that was killed in Utah, I think on August 12th, by the police. They tried to say he was non-compliant. His brother says, well, he couldn't even hear because he had headphones in. So, it is happening, but you 3 are the targets. So it's up to us as a community to organize and become unified in how we're going to band together to protect ourselves from outsiders as well as ourselves internally.
I think we can we could probably go on and on about this case and stuff, but I really want us to like go around and just think, what's the solution for this situation? Because honestly, it's like it's a Mike Brown happen every day. Somebody may not get shot, somebody's getting harassed by the police, they're getting beat by the police. You know what I'm saying?
It isn't just a white-black issue. And I know everybody, I think they want to make the point that it may be racial as well, but it is a police citizen. It's more so a police poverty issue. And because honestly, every time I've been harassed by the police, it was a black cop. So it ain't just white on black. It's authority, can't defend themselves problem that's happening. So again, my solution for the future, it can't help now. Every cop need to have that camera. No questions asked. If we need to raise the deficit or however you say it, we need cameras on every cop, everywhere. That needs to happen today.
What's your thing, man?
I'm still with my same thoughts, thinking about how it seems like we haven't come too far away from what was happening in the 60s with police brutality, and it just seems like it's not fair that it can still be happening, and it can still be to the point where they get away with it. You know what I mean? I want to see an arrest of the officer, or I want to see charges brought against him.
Picture. Can we get a photo?
Oh, we got
a photo?
We got one.
Yeah.
Jeremiah.
And you know what? I will say this. I mean, if they're gonna judge Michael as a book by the cover, meaning that he was a big, tall black man,
6'4",
right?
big.
And when you look at the picture of this cop,
Willie B. him.
He looks like he could be intimidated by somebody of Michael's size.
Yeah.
Like he may have a short man complex, or he may have a small kind of inferiority.
And this also needs to be said. He don't live there. He lives about 25 miles away from there, in probably a better situation. So there is a little bit of that going on. If you ain't from there, you don't feel welcome there, and you don't feel welcoming to the people that you policing. Some of that needs to change. They need to start hiring people from the community to police that community, so people are familiar. It's like, oh, there goes so and so. There goes so and so. He just want me to be a good kid. he ain't got nothing against me. I know him from the block. He just a good dude. He want me to be better. That's the situation that should be happening in that town.
Now, you and I brought up in a conversation earlier today, what are the consequences for this officer now that his photo was released? Now that they know his name.
He's in hiding now. Like he's in hiding, and like the police ain't telling where he is.
Do you think
the police ain't? I don't even think the police really have talked to him like that. Like they didn't arrest him. They haven't done nothing.
Do you think this situation is different from Trayvon and George Zimmerman because he is a police officer? He was allowed to carry a gun. He was a government official that was doing his job at the time when he approached Michael. Is it different because, nobody ever went after Zimmerman, nobody ever attacked him or did anything to him? So is he in any more trouble than Zimmerman, or is he in less trouble than Zimmerman?
I mean, for his life?
For his life.
I don't think nobody know where he is. I think the difference is George Zimmerman kind of walked around with...
No, that was after.
Well, they're not saying that he's had any disciplinary action or that he's off the force or
he's on paid leave. He's on paid leave.
Remember when Zimmerman got sent back home, between that time and when he got charged, he was sitting pretty. Like, there was no problem with him. Like, he could do whatever he wanted. But he did go into hiding after he got charged. Mm-hmm. So I think they're putting him in hiding now.
And he was in jail for a little while.
And remember when Zimmerman had a fund that was giving him money to live? Yeah. If that happens with this officer, is that blatant racism? Because there are people that are supporting him, and the fact that
it's racial. I don't know if it's racism, because if this was backwards and it was a black cop that shot a white kid and we weren't as invested in it, I could see people donating to his fund if we felt like it, if we felt like it was unjust on his side. So I can't blame somebody who is distanced from this, that doesn't have the connection to African Americans, to be like, I feel like it's unfair because he may have just been doing his job, so I want to support him. That's not racist. Right. It's racial, but it's not racist because nobody really, really knows what happened. Yeah. I think everybody needs to be fighting for the truth and justice to be served. We're prejudging this situation a little bit when nobody really, really knows what happened. This needs to be tried out. This evidence needs to be brought. All testimonies need to be entered, and we need to see it at the end. Now, I don't feel any kind of problem judging the Zimmerman situation. We've seen everything. I know all the details. Boom. I could say definitively what I think about that. But until that happens, there's going to be so many details that come out from now until anything in the future that our opinion may change. And if we set it in stone now, and then we find out something contrary, we'll ignore the contrary evidence because we want to stay on the side we're on. So we just got to be careful of making too many big opinions on either side.
But I mean, I think I know we're trying to shut it down, but I think they've given us really nothing. So we're making up stuff. But we're not making up stuff because we're seeing what they're giving us, and we see the loopholes in what they're giving us.
We're angry because they're not giving us stuff, and they're holding back stuff to protect this dude. And they're assuming he did nothing wrong, but they weren't there either. How in the world can they assume he did nothing wrong? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it feels cover-up-ish. So we don't like that.
I'm upset about the fact that they're basically, if this was any other situation, you take witness testimony. Yeah. But, the law is free of emotion and it's strictly, logic and facts. And my only thing is that this happens so much to black men. Even if they're not getting killed, they are getting physically assaulted, they are getting abused, and it's just a really, really terrible situation because it's like you danged if you do, you danged if you don't. Even if you do comply, if he had a bad day, you know what I'm saying, if he just feel like catching one today, will he? And my thing is also, police laws have not been rewritten since, the 60s, the 50s, the 40s, back when they was hanging Negroes from trees, and now they beating them and shooting them with billy clubs. So to my thing is, what's really been the difference? There has not been a difference. And how can you protect and serve, and this is a strong statement, but how can you uphold the law for people that the law wasn't written for? So you kind of have to have your own situation going on. Like you said, have your own laws, your own ways of doing things, your own government, and become a stronghold and a foundation first. That way, there can be no infiltration, and that way it can be equal and fair across the board. And right now, it's a whole bunch of stones on the left side and nothing balancing out the right side. And that's where it becomes a huge, huge issue.
All right, man, let's get back into it. You in the field with the track stars, Ryan Wright to Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go.